Hi, everybody. I'm here today with a special guest. Her name is Jo. Jo has worked with me in the past, but we're not going to be talking about that. Today, we are going to be talking about the 40-day challenge that we did, some of the lessons we learned from doing the 40-day challenge. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, a real quick recap. The 40-day challenge is sort of a fun challenge that some of us in this group have taken up, and you can too if you haven't done the challenge by now. You can definitely sign up. It's free, and you just read my book because it's got lots of tips about how to do a 40-day challenge and why my life is a series of 40-day challenges. Anyway, you pick a challenge for yourself that feels right for you at this time. It's got to be one small thing you want to do on a daily basis every day for 40 days. And so everyone has different goals, different lifestyles, and we've had some pretty fun ideas for challenges like learning to sing, do yoga every day, a declutter challenge, a self-appreciation challenge, a kindness challenge. Oh my goodness, a picking up garbage challenge, a meditation challenge. So many challenges. If you've done a challenge, I would love to hear them. Please comment below. All right. Well, anyway, today I'm here with Jo. Jo is going to talk about her challenge, which was actually really unique. Nobody I know has ever done this type of challenge. So, Jo, do you want to tell us what your challenge was?
And sure.
So is it? Okay.
Sure. My challenge was protein. I like protein, so that's not, so it's kind of like, seems like a strange challenge. But I don't seem to get enough of it in my meals throughout the day. And I would, I eat like 3 meals a day and snacks, but I still fell short. And I went and got my blood work, and my doctor said, "Oh, you need to increase your protein. You're still low." And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, and I felt like I was eating a lot, 3 ounces, 4 ounces at each meal. And so my challenge for 40 days was like, okay, I'm going to measure my protein. And, I know that it's a fist size, a handful size, but I really needed to focus on like doubling my size or 1.5 size of my protein servings. And so I chose that for my challenge. That's how it came about. And it was just a simple thing. I didn't want to track. I didn't want to like write anything down. Because I'm just like, more work. And so it was just to measure only. And that's what I chose. I am good at tracking. I've done it in the past. However, it was just like, no, that's just too much. I'm not a journal writer. And so I think of tracking as journaling, and it's like, oh no, I just got to make it simple. So I really stuck to that, something really, really small. And that's what I did. That's what I chose.
Okay. So you chose something simple because you knew that you had to make it easy for yourself in order to be consistent at it. And that's like one of the key tips we have in the 40 days challenge is pick something so small that it's almost like a no-brainer to do it every day. Because when you pick too large a goal, there's a lot of internal resistance. Like in the first week, you might be excited to do it, but let me tell you, that excitement fades by week 2 or 3. And in order to be consistent at it, it has to be really easy. So pick something that you are like 85, 90% sure you can do on a daily basis quite easily. And it should only take you a moment or a few minutes. So yours was to basically 1/2, 2 times your protein, because your doctor told you you needed to increase your protein. I'm wondering what he was seeing that he would know that, because I've never known a doctor to do that. Like, for example, maybe I know doctors say, like, you're anemic, you need to eat more iron-rich foods, consider eating organ meats and dark meats and things like that. But I've never known a doctor say, like, you need to increase your protein.
Yeah. Something in my blood work, I'd have to go back and look to see what it was, because I was kind of surprised, like, how can you tell I'm not eating enough, and it was like I was eating, what typically each meal of protein. So I thought I was getting enough.
Yeah.
And my, and my coach Adele, when I started out, would say, make sure you get your protein in. You have to get your protein in. And so I really thought I was getting it in. And so I was kind of surprised.
Yeah.
And up to that point, I was like, I would get hungry real easily. And, so I, like I said, I'd have to go back and look to see what the blood work was specifically, but it had to do with proteins. It wasn't on the iron because I have been deficient, anemic in the past. And, recommended that I eat, meats to get that specific type of iron. So that's been recommended. That was like 5 or 6 years ago. So yeah, to be told to eat more protein was kind of surprising.
Yeah, to hear it from not just me, but from your doctor. And like, we're always advocating protein at every meal. The current recommended daily allowance, the requirement is too low. We are waiting for them to bump it up. A lot of experts say like it's too low, needs to be increased in the dietary guidelines. And right now, like what you were eating is probably what a lot of people were already eating. A lot of people eat about 50 to 70 grams a day. And our recommendation is often to double that. So for a variety of health reasons, we won't go into, it's hard for me to take off my health coaching hat, but so we have your why, we have your what. Maybe you could share with us your technique and some of the challenges you experienced with your challenge.
Okay. So my technique is I pulled out my scale and I left it right next to the toaster. It just became like one of the appliances in the kitchen, and I just cleaned and dusted around it. And I would just measure, it was just so easy to measure everything. I'd throw my plate on the scale, set it to 0, throw my protein on. I was like, oh, okay, I need more protein, throw them on. So it was really surprising to see how much protein I needed to keep adding to my plate.
Right.
And so it was just there, 3 times a day, and even my snack. And, by the end, like I didn't measure my protein this morning because I knew, it's 3 slices of deli meat, and I knew exactly already what it was. And so now I'm kind of like already evolving into that. So that was kind of like another new success thing about that. So having it real handy made a huge difference. And, before I look at the scale and go, I got to measure, but it was just, it's just this one thing. So that made it easy. That was my trip.
Yeah,
just the protein, because I get lots of vegetables and lots of fruit. So I didn't need to do that. My challenges along the way, well, we ended up with a lot of electrical outages due to storms here in California. And my scale is battery operated, so that's not the problem. But being able to cook and have enough protein on hand was challenging. We did have a gas grill, and we did have a generator, so I was able to grill up chicken and what else? Oh, hamburger. We had lots of hamburger patties in the freezer. And so I would just, cook up for a couple of days and then just, pull it out of the refrigerator, cut off a chunk, and that would be my chunk, weigh it and then throw the rest back in the refrigerator. And so that was a little bit challenging because the first couple of days it was like, oh, okay, I can't, couldn't cook or didn't have, the resources. We didn't have propane gas for our gas grill. Once we got that dialed in, that made a difference. And then we did order out a couple of times. And so I would order like a vegetarian sandwich with, with extra deli meat. So make sure I had my vegetables, but I would get that, I'd pay for like 2 servings of deli meat to go on it. So I just doubled it. And then another challenge was, and it's interesting because it came out in one of your hints or one of your topics from your book around day, 20 or 15 or something, that you get like fatigue, kind of tired of doing it. And I had a little bit of that. It was like, oh, okay. But it was such a simple habit that it was like, okay. And, it was like a fleeting moment where in the past, it would probably have totally demotivated me. And I would be like, yeah, okay, forget it, throw the towel in. But it was so simple. And my scale was just right there in my face. And I was like, okay, back onto it. And so I probably had maybe a couple meals where I didn't weigh. But I would say I was probably 90% plus successful on having that, even with the challenges. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, considering you had power outages, it just shows that where there's a will, there's a way. There is a solution as long as you're willing to be resourceful and creative. And I'm glad that email came out experiencing the slump because everyone experiences it. I think anyone who thinks they're just going to rock this challenge and never feel unmotivated is deluded. And so when that slump comes where you just feel this resistance to like doing your challenge that day, I think it's a good time to tell yourself, oh, this is that moment, right? But if you made it really easy, then it's almost harder to deny yourself that challenge because you're debating with yourself, you're wasting all this energy. It's just easier to just do it and get it done, you know? So, and I think there's something to doing, it's not like doing a challenge is really hard. Consistency is the hardest thing when it comes to diet and lifestyle change. Consistency on a daily basis. So I believe that this challenge teaches us to be better at being consistent with the small things. And those small things really add up to big changes over time, which brings me to my next point. You had some unexpected outcomes from this challenge. You lost 11 pounds. Is that right?
Yes, 11 pounds. And that was really surprising. And I would say just before the, right the first week of April, I was getting really hungry, like super hungry. And so I went and weighed myself and I was like, oh my gosh, I had dropped like 11 pounds and I was totally, completely shocked. I mean, I knew I had dropped, 3 or 4 pounds here because I weigh like once a week. But then when I stepped on it, because I was like, and the interesting thing is eating all the protein, I felt satisfied all the time, but I had a little bit of hunger. And I enjoyed at the Easter, weekend holiday. And I did indulge, and I'm right back to where, I put on a couple of pounds from the carbs, but it came right back to where I was, and it feels pretty solid now. But yeah, it was shocking. It was shocking it was like, wow, I should have eaten this protein a long time ago.
Well, as you know, right, we're always saying protein is the most satiating hormone. You want to have it at every meal because it really curbs the hunger and the cravings. It's a game changer for people who struggle with their weight or want to lose weight. It's one of the easiest things you can do to help you lose weight. And you just made this little change, more protein at every meal, and boom, you lost 11 pounds in less than 6 weeks. Amazing.
Yeah. It was incredible. Yeah. And I really wasn't hungry except for just that, one day. And
that's, is a sign you're losing weight. If you're never hungry, chances are you're probably gaining weight,
Right.
If you're even if you're just maintaining your weight, there should be periods of hunger where you're just getting a little hungry before it's mealtime. And then you eat your meal and you're satisfied. That's sort of an ideal situation, but the protein can really keep you staying full for much longer than a low protein diet. So that's fabulous. I love it. Okay. So, what advice would you give to someone doing their own 40-day challenge?
Choose something that you'll enjoy doing, that you won't dread. That's one. And I think I was kind of reflecting on this question or on this idea is that if you're not ready for a goal, like if you're not sure, it's okay to wait because it'll come to you. Because I've had like, oh, I can do this goal, I can do that goal, and oh, this has been recommended. But one will finally speak to you. Like one will eventually pop out and it'll be like, okay, I'll try this. And that's kind of what the protein was for me. I mean, I did have like little nudges here and there, but I've been told to eat more protein for years. And it just finally came up, but it was, I customized it for myself. Like I made it into a smaller thing. So choosing something that you're not going to dread or kind of be resentful that you'll be doing for 40 days.
Yeah.
Just something that that will probably be able to stick. Because now measuring my protein is quicker than brushing my teeth. It's easier than brushing my teeth. It really is. It's like, it's a no-brainer. It doesn't take any time. It really doesn't. Because I have to set my plate on the counter anyhow to make whatever meal I'm making anyway. And so it made a lot of sense to me.
And you've gotten so good at eyeballing it now. Like, for example, 6 slices of deli meat instead of 3 will let you get your goals, or, because you almost 6 weeks you were measuring it. Now you know exactly how much meat to put on your plate.
Yeah.
And then if you start kind of drifting a little bit, you could always go back to measuring, but it's, I think it's a great way to approach this. Awesome. I love what you said about, you know, not doing things that just kind of make you feel deflated, like you should do them. That's how I was going to do my challenge, this last one. I was picking some things I thought I should do, but I just found myself not excited about it or drawn to it. It was like this, almost like a burden, right?
Yeah.
And then I had this idea, I'm just going to do 5 minutes of cardio a day. I mean, I already walk, but I want to have better cardio. So I thought, I'll do 5 minutes of cardio a day. Like, I'll get on the bike first thing in the morning after my morning coffee. I'll just watch a YouTube video in 5 minutes. And 5 minutes turned into so much more, because when you make it easy on yourself and you get that initial win, you often find yourself like wanting to do more and more. So like if I was supposed to do 5 minutes for 40 days, it would have been 200 minutes of cardio total. I ended up enjoying my morning so much and getting so into these the YouTube rabbit hole. I added it up. I did 1,116 minutes of biking that I would never have done. 22 minutes of rowing, 7 minutes of elliptical, and 15 minutes of running. Yeah. So, you know, it just shows the power of making it easy, because it leads to a feeling of like happiness that you just accomplished something, and then you kind of get hungry for more. And I see this time and again as a coach, like clients who are resisting getting back into an exercise routine. You know, my advice will be, just start with one exercise that you love doing. Is it bicep curls? Just do bicep curls tomorrow. That's it. And sometimes they're like, that's too easy. It's like, just do that. And then they get momentum, and then they start wanting to do more and more. But it's just, the most important thing isn't the intensity. It isn't the duration. It's just being consistent, you know, just every day, be consistent with something. So, although I wouldn't want people weightlifting every day, because you need rest, but you know what I'm saying? The power of consistency with habits is just amazing. But, I love it. So you lost 11 pounds. Have you checked your blood work since, or are you going to wait for a bit for that?
I go in next month. So actually in about 2 weeks. So
okay, well, give me an update and tell me if that helps. You just email me. But I love it. That's wonderful, Joe. So your advice is pick something easy, pick something that you want to do that gets you excited. And yeah, any other advice for anyone?
No, that's about it. I think, like I said, you know, just it'll come to you, you know, practice doing, you know, choosing a goal, and it may not feel right, but eventually one will come by, and then you'll know how that feels. And so you'll know what to expect in, you know, selecting future goals. That would be my only recommendation.
Are you going to do another challenge, Joe?
Yes, I am. I want to get back into Qigong, but that takes a lot of time. I love Qigong, and I kind of just let off of it since last November. And as I had mentioned earlier to you prior to the interview, I have a new dog, and getting to do that is challenging because it's not a restful moment. So I'm going to try meditation. You know, I've never been big on meditation because I always get too relaxed and fall asleep. So I'm going to choose to do it in the morning. Like, I'm already thinking about what time of day it would be good, like when, you know, the household is calm, just to have a few minutes of clarity. And I think that's a doable one, where doing a half hour or an hour of Qigong isn't really, because of the lifestyle change that happened, that I don't think that would be reasonable. But doing a 10-minute quiet meditation would be something I can pull off. So that's my new challenge for the next 40 days.
I love it. I love it. That's a great one. Do you think you'll keep up with the routine then?
Oh yeah. The scale's not going away. It'll stay there. And then eventually when I have this down, it'll probably eventually go into the drawer maybe, but no, it's too easy. It's a habit. It's a habit now.
I love it. Well, that's the goal, right? The whole goal of these 40-day challenges is to create a new healthy habit for yourself. So if you're interested in learning more about how to do a challenge, I'll put a link in the comments section and you can sign up, do your own 40-day challenge. And I'd love to hear from you. You'll get one email a day to help guide you in the challenge, to help inspire you and motivate you and give you ideas. And one email a day for 40 days. And you can come to this Facebook group and keep us updated on your challenge. I love hearing about different people's challenges and some of the challenges they had on their challenge and how they overcame them. Joe, thank you so much for sharing your story. I really appreciate it. How fun. It was awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Take care, Joe.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.